When we talk about any fictional character, be it a superhero, a normal person, or even a villain, how influential that character is in your life depends on to what extent you can relate to it. Because if you don't relate to the character well, then all its qualities which inspire you, you will not try much to imbibe those qualities in your life. That character will remain just an inspiration for you. You will never aspire to be like him. So the question is, which type of characters aspire us and how do we relate to them? Well, we do not relate to a character when we like their qualities or when they have the same ambitions as us or when we are influenced by their power and strength. We relate to any character well when they have the same weakness as ours, when our mistakes are the same, when he is also as limited as we are. Because then you realize that he doesn't have any more advantage than you have, and only then we are able to form a strong connection with that character. We make an effort to imbibe their qualities in our life. And Batman is also one of those characters who are not just an inspiration but an aspiration, something that we all want to be and can be. Batman is a belief to turn tragedy into motivation, fear into strength, and darkness into an ally. He also struggles with the same things that I and you struggle in our daily lives. Number 1. Expose yourself to fear. When we are talking about Batman and we don't talk about fear, it's impossible. Fear is central to Batman's persona. And Batman is a very good subject if you truly want to understand fear. Fear is a universal emotion. We all know about fear because we all have felt it and feel it even today. Your childhood fears, your teenage fears, your adult and old age fears are all different. But one thing common in all of them is that we always fear things that we don't understand. In some way, fear is a darkness, a blackout. And in this darkness resides Batman so that he can scare criminals. As a child, when Bruce Wayne falls in that cave, he is filled with a phobia of bats. Phobia means a kind of fear which completely paralyzes you. Fear of a situation that is out of proportion to its danger. We assume more danger than there actually is. Scarecrow creates phobia in people through his chemical. When young Bruce gathers the courage to fight the bats, then he realizes that the things he wants to do in his life, their answer lies in that fear. The fear which he ran away from, he can use that fear to scare criminals. And sometimes fear is very important to get ahead in life, especially fear of death. Batman was able to jump into that well only when he jumps without a rope, because then he fears death. Fear of death is an ultimate form of motivation, and that's why fear is not a bad thing. It's a necessary and evolutionary emotion, and sometimes what you fear is an indication of what you seek. There is a quote, "The cave you fear holds the treasure you are seeking." So expose yourself to fear. There lies the beauty, there lies the bliss, and perhaps there lies the answer which you are searching for in your life. Number 2. Take control of your life. The most integral part of Batman mythology, on whose foundation Bruce Wayne is transformed into Batman, it is the death of Bruce Wayne's parents, a rich kid at the wrong place at the wrong time. Here is a kid who realizes at an early age that security is temporary, it's fragile. It happens so that when we are a kid, we tend to think of our parents as immortal beings, always there to protect us and be there with us. If we are around them, we feel very secure, whatever happens. Now, as we grow old, we realize that everybody is equally endangered. Anything can happen to anybody. But if someone loses this sense of security at a very young age, then it leaves a very deep psychological impact on that child. And in many cases, it has a negative impact too. Many people, after going through such events, become very helpless. They give up. They lose meaning in their life. But there are also such people who transform their trauma into their own growth. They fuel their strength from their tragedy. And they do it by taking control of the situation. When everything around you is falling apart, nothing happens the way you want, own it, make it yours, take control of it, don't run away. Because by taking control, you affirm meaning into chaotic events. Control and independence are a very essential aspect of Batman's character. He has practiced it from a very young age. He had to do so after his parents' death. For him to lose his control is to lose himself and accept chaos, which he never does. Number 3. Batman never makes an easy choice. We move ahead in our life by making a choice. You're always and every second choosing something. Every moment there are infinite possibilities ahead of you, and out of those infinite possibilities, you choose one. The point is that it's very easy to make a choice if there is no immediate bad consequence. But for Batman, every choice he makes, there's a dangerous and heart-wrenching consequence.
Making a choice. Where are they? Choose between one life or the other. No, you strength.
Don't worry. I'm
gonna tell you what they are. Both of them. And that's the point. You'll have to choose.
Be it choosing anyone between Rachel and Harvey, or not revealing his identity at the cost of people's death, or showing himself as a murderer so that people of Gotham can remain united, or taking law in own hands to keep Gotham City safe. All these choices are very difficult and psychologically tough, and probably the toughest of all is to make a choice to not to kill your enemy. The truth is that Batman is as contradictory as his complex nature. Number 4. Develop self-control. We know that Batman possesses no superpower. His wealth is something he has nearest to superpower, but that's not true. If there is something which makes Batman so powerful and different, it is his ability to control himself, to be able to be disciplined. In many situations in life, to achieve success, it is necessary to regulate our impulses, to control it, that we delay the gratification. Today's society and culture are all about instant relief, quick satisfaction, distraction. There's a whole generation we have raised who is slave to their impulses. People for momentary pleasures are ready to compromise with their values. They're willing to do stupid things. When Batman is fighting criminals, his natural impulse is to kill the enemy, but he suppresses that desire. He exerts self-control because killing doesn't align with his value system. Police Commissioner Gordon trusts Batman only because he knows that no matter what happens, Batman will never break. He will never lose self-control. He will not kill. Self-regulation is like a muscle. We all have a muscular ability to regulate our impulses. Bruce Wayne has developed this muscle, worked on it. In fact, he has a stronger capacity for self-regulation than anyone else. And it's almost a superpower, the power of self-control. Number 5, and the most important one, never lose meaning in your life. In the world of superheroes, the most dangerous, scary, and psychologically disturbed people are often the villains of Batman. Riddler, Two-Faced, Scarecrow, Joker, they all are walking definition of dysfunction. And if you take a closer look at these villains, you'll find that all of them are twisted mirror images of Batman himself. It means the emotional tragedy which makes Batman serve justice in Gotham City, the villains use the same emotional tragedy to destroy Gotham City. Like Batman, they also had a rough life. They are also as obsessed as Batman. But Batman's perspective is that if something bad had happened to him, now he will ensure that it doesn't happen to anyone else. Meanwhile, his villains believe that if I have suffered, the whole world will have to suffer now. The whole world will have to pay for it. And all these villains attack Batman exactly at the point where he can be broken, from where he can be exploited. Scarecrow creates phobia, Poison Ivy creates lust, Penguin exploits his influence, Bane wants to break his willpower, and the worst of all, Joker, who tries to convince Batman that he's also like him. He creates psychological pressure.
Believe me, you're garbage who kills for money. Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak.
And that's why Batman's real struggle is not with Gotham's criminals, but his struggle is at his own individual level, as to how he can continue to have meaning in his life, how he doesn't let his inner belief die that deep down there is goodness in everyone. So these are 5 things that you can learn from Batman, and thank you so much for watching the video. Subscribe, Just a Thought, and if you love my work you can also support it on Patreon and PayPal. See you in the next video. Take care.